Call the meeting to order, not call the meeting to order, yep, call the meeting to order at 6:06. So reporting out of closed session, the board did take several actions. First on the list was that the board approved a settlement agreement with a vote of 5 in favor and 0 against for resolution of exposure to litigation, agreeing to fund an educational placement and district assessment in exchange for a release of educational claims against the district up to the 2027-2028 school year. The board also upheld the denial of interdistrict transfer for the student 262-705, 262-703, and have postponed the decision for 262-704.
Correct.
Okay, great. All right, so if you would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we go straight into Tell Me Something Good time. And
okay, we are going to acknowledge the boys and girls soccer team. So first of all, I'm going to go with girls first. We acknowledge teams that made the playoffs, and this is my mistake. We should have acknowledged them in December. We had a lot going on in the December board meeting, and we didn't do it. So it was brought to my attention, and they absolutely should be recognized. So I want to go through the names of the girls first. They made the playoffs, and they lost in the first round, unfortunately, but they still had a fantastic year. So Christina Smoot, Anna Beerbaum, Sloan Neff, Aubrey Redler Medina, Lucy Lona, Danica Zamudio, Brooke Mallet, Dagny Gordon, Sarah Myrick, Aaliyah Guerrero, Brooke Druin, Story Knapp, and Nevaeh Aguilar. That was our girls team. They had a fantastic year. A lot of them will return next year, so we're really looking forward to having another successful season with the girls. A big highlight of our school year was the boys soccer team, who was fantastic. They, not this season, but the season before, did not score one goal. Okay, so they made it all the way back to the playoffs the next year. They returned a lot of students, and they also are returning a lot next year, too. That first year where we unfortunately didn't score many goals, they had a lot of sixth graders. So those sixth graders have grown. They made the playoffs as seventh graders. They made it to the championship. They lost in the championship. So we were extremely proud of them. They showed so much growth, and they have another year. So, I mean, not all of them, but a large portion of that group has another year left as eighth graders. So really looking forward to watching them compete. So we'll go through those names. Tristan Slama, Tristan Suro, Gael Barrera, Eli Banks, Hussein Alzidi, Forrest Wing, Braden Schwartz, Landon O'Connell, Caleb Suro, Gavin Holder, Jaden Villegas, Abisha Ruiz, Devin Cervantes, Xavier Garcia, Brandon Frazier, Luke Pierce, Colfax Dabrowski, Elliot Kazi, Nolan Kazi, Bryce Hoover, and Aiden Abernathy. So they had a fantastic season. Super proud of them. Coach Searle will be back next year as the coach since he has one more son.
That was my question, Joe. Did he coach last year?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he did, and he's going to be back again next year.
Okay. And who's the girls' coach?
Mr. Medina, Aubrey Redler Medina, and he actually spans a few years too because his daughter graduated last year, but he has another one coming through. So that's currently in sixth grade. She'll be in seventh grade. So hopefully we have Mr. Medina for 2 more years. He also coached basketball too, so he's a huge volunteer here.
It's great hearing you name all those names to have that many kids involved in these sports.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, definitely. We had big teams this year, big turnout, and our sports teams were great. So a lot of involvement.
Thank you, Jim.
Yep.
Thank you very much. It was fun watching. I mean, I had partial to the boys team.
Yeah.
It was fun watching you go from getting just slobbered every year. They're not sophomore, they're sixth grade year, and they really being competitive.
Yeah.
So it was really fun.
Cool.
Organizational updates, Sarah?
Yeah, I just attended the district advisory committee.
And I attended the county board
awards dinner recently.
I attended the county board, MCOE board meeting, dinner, whatever that was. Also the advisory council meeting and also career day, which was a wonderful success. It was very exciting. I think that's it.
I went to the college and career day and to the MCS, or the Monterey County School Board dinner.
My spring break did not align with your guys' spring break, which as a parent was frustrating, but as a board member was awesome. I got to go to the college career day, and then I also made site visits to Toro and Washington.
Great.
I attended the monthly superintendent's council meeting. I attended the secretary's meeting. We've been having some conversations about our ELOP program, expanded learning opportunities. The way we are funded in our district, it's becoming a bit cost prohibitive to run the program. It's intended to provide support. If it continues in its current fashion, it's actually going to cost us money to run the ELOP program in the future. So we're trying to figure out what that's going to look like for our district in the future, if we need to decline the money or if there's something out there that will assist us. And so as part of that, we met with a company called Edmo that will come in and do after school programs that help you to utilize your ELOP funding. So we're trying to figure out if that might in the future be an option for us, if it can. There's some cost associated with it, so it would have to work out for us, but we're looking at that. We met with Highway 68 Sports for their annual contract for the baseball program. I've hosted several parents meetings. We had an evening superintendent's coffee to talk about the same topic to the transitioning as the district changes. And we had Caitlin Kaiser and Molly Hansen present. Unfortunately, it was not well attended, but we wanted to give a different offering at a different time of day to make it more accessible. So we did an online meeting. Just been working with the principals as they begin their end of year planning. I did attend the district advisory council and the college and career fair. And then today we met with Chantel Torrey and Schaefer to talk about her role with the Chartwell Teaching Institute and how we might partner to bring more work on structured literacy into the district.
Okay. End of year prep. We've been preparing for that at San Benito. It's a lot of prep going into graduation and activities for 6th and 7th graders as well. I went to our monthly SELPA cabinet meeting. I went to the college and career fair put on by Caitlin, Kelsey, Jennifer, and a lot of the other staff members pitched in as well, but those were the leaders of it, and they did a great job. Thank you guys all that were able to make it there. 8th graders went to the Sunset Center, and how that works is the play, or it's called Tilt. It was like kind of a Cirque du Soleil-ish type deal, and they perform at the Sunset Center, but the Classroom Connections program, the people that are involved in the play come to school, and they do stuff with the kids, which was really cool. They did a lot of juggling and different kind of like flexibility circus-like stuff in the classroom. We did it in 8th grade, and so the 8th graders went, and Jennifer hosted, since she has all the 8th graders, Jennifer Fraser, and she cleared out the desk and made it so it's just an open room. And the people from the play came through and worked with our kids, and they had a blast, and then they got to go see them perform at the Sunset Center. We did it last year. Sarah, you were with me last year.
Was it very similar?
No, it was different than last year, supposedly, which was good because, last year was a bit
different.
last year was kind of rough, but this year was, they really enjoyed the play. Andy's not here, so ASB put on egg hunts at Washington and Toro Park. Very successful. Kids had a great time. I went to a Part C to B training, which is our preschool to age 3 program that they've been really trying to hone in on that at the county level. So we've had a few trainings on that this year. I went to the Edmo training that Gina talked about, district advisory, school site council. We had a Highway 68 sports meeting just to get on track with their contract. And then I also attended the superintendent's coffee with Miss Molly and Miss Caitlin. We have a dance coming up on the 24th. We're going to have a amazing speaker, parent in the district, Laurel Browning, coming to speak to our 8th grade students on April 23rd. If anybody can make it, that will be at 11:15. Parents of middle school students, 1, 2, 3 of you, you'll get something on Parent Square. But if anybody wants to make it, 11:15 on the 23rd, Laurel will be talking about decision making and her experience with that. So
What's Laurel's background on that?
she was involved in the car accident in 2003.
Long time
On
ago,
San
up on San
Mateo
Mateo
Road.
Road. Yeah.
And
Sue
she
Kelly-
talks about,
right by Sue Kelly House.
Yeah.
yeah, she talks about decision making and what happened on that day and what led up to that and kind of how she lives with it. And she was fantastic last year.
Right.
She she never really had spoken before last year. And we did a lot of prep. Laura was very good about making sure she was super prepared. So I met with her a lot before we prepared everything, and she did an amazing job with the kids. You can hear a pen drop there. It was just great. So she'll be speaking to our 8th graders on April 23rd.
And you all know about the accident they just had 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I wish they'd left the car there. I mean, they had the car gone immediately. I
Is that
wish
the one
they'd
on
left
Titus?
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened? I mean,
It was 1 o'clock in the morning, speeding along that, and they flipped the car, and it was upside down, and there was at least 3 teenagers in the car
oh my gosh.
at 1 in the morning. My brother lives right there. He was out there on the road.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Really unfortunate.
Really unfortunate, but the good thing is that nobody was
Yes.
hurt,
Yeah.
so it didn't get much attention.
Yeah.
But it could have gone
Totally.
totally different.
We also had years ago, we had another speaker that had a similar background over in the Loop that was involved in an accident where someone died as well. So, I think that's amazing. If anybody can make it 11:15 on the 23rd, that's all right.
We had a team from the Port Ord Environmental Cleanup Community Relations Office visit Toro Park and do a munition safety presentation, which was a little dry, but they made it as fun as possible. It's good info.
Possible.
I like the board they brought with all the example munitions. That was kind of cool to see. But the team from Wildmind came down and did a presentation on animals of the Americas. So there was an anteater, bighorn owl, and even a skunk. So that was neat. They got to learn about the animals and their habitats. I attended the 3rd Technology Committee meeting, and we finalized a draft AI board policy, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Attended DAC and the school site council meeting. One of our kindergarten families, the Hamblins, coordinated with animal ambassadors out of the Wildlife Education and Rehabilitation Center in Morgan Hill, and brought a whole host of owls. I don't know, is it a roost of owls?
I don't know. Don't ask me.
Anyways, they brought a bunch of owls for the kindergartners. So after the animal assembly that we had, the animal ambassadors came just for the kindergartners, and they got their own little private owl education. So a big thank you to the Hamblins. We did the annual egg hunt. Over the spring break, I worked with our tech contractor, and we tested out the county's Starlink system out at Washington as a potential backup if we have internet connectivity issues, and it was a very positive result. So it looks like it's a feasible thing for us if we need it. And then just today, Mr. Glenn visited Toro Park. He did a little pizza tossing demonstration for the students and talked about his story. So it's a big thank you to Mr. Glenn and Ms. Sprinkles and the Star Foundation for helping coordinate all that.
We had a very successful pie day. So in order to get a piece of pie, kids needed to measure the diameter of 3 different things on campus or at home. So that was great. Thank you to Star. Everyone got their own little mini pie this year, and the kids said it was delicious. We had a very successful campaign week. We're about 50 to 60% done with summited LPAC testing, which is wonderful. We had our ILT meeting last month. I hosted the district advisory committee meeting. Over the spring break, I went to the YMCA to make sure that we had everything in place for summer school. So kids can go to summer school in the morning here, and then those who are ELOP students can go to YMCA towards the end of the day. We hosted school site council. The students went to the career expo up here, which was great. Thank you to Ms. Kaiser. Thank you to Mike for his help. We did a district-wide tech test for prepping for the CAP test. So everyone logged on at the same time so we could make sure that the internet could handle it, and all the kids were able to do that successfully. I attended the superintendent's coffee, and lastly, we had our egg hunt at Washington.
Thank you very much, GTA.
It's kind of slow month, but we did enjoy the Easter egg. That was really great. The kids all TK to 5 enjoyed that, and we hope to look forward to that in the future. And we were just discussing recycling the eggs keeping the eggs and returning them to him so that he can refill them for the next year. Cost effective, the kids don't need them. We usually, sometimes we let them build and glue gun with them and build something else, but I think a better use would be to reuse them. So we'll talk to Andy about that for next year. First grade wants to invite you to our spring concert, which is April 22nd, Earth Day. And I believe it's at 12:45. And if you cannot make that conference, we have the choral one for the students is the dress rehearsal the day before. I'm not really sure what time that'll be. Maybe 11. And it's third grades. Just to add to your schedule will be May 22nd. We'll be there. What time is it? 1 o'clock at 12:05.
Thank you. Looks like CSA. Anybody? Good. Just checking. And want to give me correspondence?
None?
All right. And then we are on to our public hearing.
Yep. You want to open it up?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I have to open up. So, open the hearing at 6:23. Yeah.
So the public hearing is to take any input or comments on the naming of the nature trail. As you know, we've been working on dedicating the nature trail to Mr. Doolittle. So we do have a board policy in the district on naming buildings, facilities, locations within the district. So this is part of following our policy. We had a naming committee, which was the Washington staff. They decided on the name. And now it goes to public hearing. And if there's any comment or input on that, following that, we will have a special board meeting next Wednesday at 5 o'clock out at Washington Union. And Mr. Doolittle will be there and we will dedicate the trail to him.
And any public comment? Questions?
Drag it out a minute, maybe.
Did you know the trail's been there since 1957? That's
No, but
my newest piece of information.
Okay.
Telling everybody that I know.
How long a trail is it?
It's about,
I've never actually done it.
you know what? I'm going to Karen Adishian's house tomorrow. There's a book.
Okay.
So, and there are some pictures. There's a book.
Wow.
Yeah. And she's going to let me borrow the book for a few days. So I'm going to see what I can glean.
Can we go on a nature walk afterwards?
Lily, would you like to tell them?
We are going to have our hiking club members who are all-stars be docents, and you can actually go up the trail with them, and they will lead you.
Thanks.
All the way up?
Well, we're going to do the lower trail because we have had rattlesnake sightings, so we're going to keep it down low.
Yeah. I've done some maintenance on that trail. It's gonna be great.
Depends on what you find. It would be interesting if we could get the money just to put a little plaque that says that history.
Yeah.
So that it's not just the Dave Doolittle Trail, this is the history.
Correct. We're naming it for Dave because Dave was a tremendous steward
Yeah.
of the trail in his 37 years in the district. And really, you talk to kids in the district who went through during his tenure, and he's sort of synonymous with the nature trail and the fourth grade experience. And so his retirement was not at his choosing because of his health issue. And so we thought that this was a fitting way to really honor him and the contributions he made. But yes, the nature trail was started in 1957 by a family that had moved from Southern California. The father was a principal, and the outdoor education movement had sort of started, and so they brought that this way, and they started the nature trail. But then over the years, the group out there, Molly Dennis, Ann Peacock, Joyce Freeman, there was a whole group out there that were really dedicated during their tenure to supporting that and really promoting outdoor education and conservation. So there's been a whole host of people that have really been good stewards of that property. But, Dave was kind of a highlight. So
You mentioned Joyce Freeman. If you can imagine this, I was in her class in 6th grade and she read Silent Spring out loud to us.
Okay.
6th grade.
Wow.
I was in her class in 6th grade. I don't think we read that.
yeah, there's lots of stories out there,
Yeah.
but Yeah, so I'm gonna go pick up the book tomorrow, or she's gonna bring it by. I think.
That's cool.
I think there's a picture of Ted Addison in the book.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Look at that, we had a public hearing that went more than 3 seconds.
I think that might be a record for a public hearing. And I'll close public hearing at 6. I'm going to round up to 27. There you go. Okay. Discussion information items. We're looking at enrollment first.
Currently stands at 732 students.
Our report on the district curriculum activities.
So we are gearing up for CAST testing. I sent out the Department of Education parent notification letter the week before we went on spring break. The CAST testing calendar has been shared with all teachers, and the first round of testing will begin April 13th. So good luck to everyone.
And we'll move on to, is that skipping?
On action.
Oh, we're on action items. Okay. Just make sure I didn't miss a page. We are first going to go through the approval of Resolution 2025-2609, declaring May 5th through 9th as Teacher Appreciation Week.
Yeah, so we have a resolution here. We have Teacher Appreciation Week, which is typically the first week in May. So this year it's 5th through the 9th. In California, we also celebrate Teacher Appreciation Day, which is the second Wednesday, and that is May 13th. So this year, we're going to be partnering with STAR to provide a Teacher Appreciation Day, the date which has escaped me right now.
April 29th.
April 29th. So we'll be sending out information to the teachers, and we're going to have a little collaboration day celebration at Stoney's. I think somebody has a resolution there.
Adam's it.
All right. So Washington Union School District Resolution number 2025-2609, resolution to recognize National Teacher Appreciation Week. Whereas teachers are the backbone of our educational system, providing the knowledge, inspiration, and guidance necessary for students to reach their full potential. And whereas educators in Washington Union School District are dedicated professionals who work tirelessly to foster a safe, inclusive, and engaging learning environment for all children. And whereas teachers often go above and beyond, investing their time, energy, and resources into their academic, social, and emotional growth of our community's future leaders. And whereas California Educational Code Section 37222 sets aside the second Wednesday in May as the Day of the Teacher. And whereas, in support of this educational code section, the California State Board of Education has adopted a resolution proclaiming the second Wednesday of May as the Day of the Teacher. And whereas this year's California Day of the Teacher falls on May 13th, 2026. And whereas the first full week of May is widely celebrated as National Teacher Appreciation Week, offering a fitting time to express our deepest gratitude. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Washington Union School District does hereby proclaim May 4th through the May 8th, 2026 as Teacher Appreciation Week. Be it further resolved that the Board recognizes May 13th, 2026 as California Day of the Teacher and encourages all students, parents, and community members to join in honoring our teachers and recognizing their profound positive impact on our society. And this is a roll call vote. Okay.
Aye.
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 I think we need a motion.
Yeah.
Oh. Skip that one.
We
Sorry.
approve this resolution.
Okay. Now.
Aye.
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 Well done.
Thank you for that one.
Thank you, teachers.
Thank you all. Okay. In that case, we're on to number 2, which is approval of Resolution 2025-2614, proclaiming May 17th through the 23rd, 2026 as Classified School Employee Week.
So, yes, we always celebrate our classified employees during 1 week in May. And this year it is the 17th through the 23rd. As always, we will have our classified barbecue on May, remind me, Joe? 15th. And that will be at the district office, and we'll have a barbecue lunch for all of our classified employees. And our district staff chips in at the school sites to answer phones and cover recess duties and do what needs to be done at the school site so all of our classified staff can come down and have lunch with us.
Okay, and I will read Resolution 2025-2614. Whereas when a child rides the bus, checks a book out from the library, goes to the school attendance office, or even visits the school health aide, he or she is touched by a classified school employee. And whereas California's legislature recognizes the important contributions of classified school employees and named the third full week of May as Classified School Employee Week to honor the accomplishments and achievements these employees make to the schools and educational community. And whereas we recognize that Washington Union School District classified employees interact daily with students, enrich their lives, form trusted bonds, and serve as positive role models and guardians to ensure our students receive the support they need to learn, grow, and create a healthy path for themselves. And whereas we recognize that every classified employee job serves an important purpose, that they are the support system for education, working to create an effective learning environment and performing many behind-the-scene tasks so that student instruction can continue without interruption. And whereas the Washington Union School Board of Trustees recognizes the important services these employees provide to improve student learning, meet our school standards, and build a better California. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Washington Union School District Board of Trustees, in accordance with California Education Code 45460, does hereby adopt Resolution 2025-2614 to recognize the numerous contributions and nurturing guidance of our classified employees, and recognizes the full week of May 17th through the 23rd, 2025 as Classified School Employees Week, and moreover, urges parents, students, and the community to show their appreciation for all Washington Union School District classified employees. So,
I will move to approve that resolution.
Okay.
Sarah?
Aye.
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 All right, thank you. That's all then. Okay. Let's see, so on to number 3, approval of resolution 2025-2616 for final reduction of classified staff service due to the lack of funds.
So this is, Charlene came to us, I believe, once already, but we did do a layoff in the classified service, but in order to sort of shift with the transition in the district and full day TK, she did have to make some adjustments. So there was a reduction in hours for 3 positions, and that was the total layoff in the classified service. So this is just that approval of that reduction.
Doesn't look like much.
No.
Just a little bit.
About an hour.
Shaved off.
Yeah,
I'll second that.
this is a resolution.
This is a resolution. So, Sarah?
Aye.
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 All right. And then number 4, approval of resolution 2025-2617, establishing Fund 40 and Fund 56 for capital financing and debt service purposes.
So this is directly related to our solar energy project. What establishing these funds helps to provide transparency and track all the expenditures because it was financed and we have certificates of participation. What these 2 funds do is help to track, the money coming in through the participation in the funding program and the money going out, and it tracks all the payments and the expenditures. And it's strictly auditing purposes and provides transparency on how the money was utilized for this entire project.
Be nice to see some data too on the last couple of years versus after we activated it too, or what's going on.
You mean energy costs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just tracking.
Sure, absolutely.
I'll move to approve that resolution.
I'll second.
The resolution, so Sarah?
Aye.
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 Great.
And now we are on to approval of facility use by Star Foundation for its annual fundraiser.
And this is strictly for transparency. We had a discussion, Andrea Massey was at a meeting. We talked about how our board policy has a provision that will allow an organization to come in on campus to serve alcohol at an event, provided certain conditions are met. And so it allows the superintendent to give that permission. But I just felt it was necessary with the event coming up. I want for full transparency's sake, to have a public acknowledgement that the board is aware of it and we're moving forward. The event is next week, and all systems are go from what I understand. They have moved the event from the gym into the multipurpose room, but they're ready to go, and it sounds like the auction is the online auction is gonna go live in a few days, so you can preview the items. There's some nice packages, so it should be a nice event.
So I mean, the only problem is the liability with the alcohol. So what are the provisions in place to make sure that we don't have people driving drunk?
They're going to have some security from what I understand. We cannot have any students on campus at any time while alcohol is being served. So, we'll have to make sure that the baseball and softball programs aren't down there using the batting cages or any of that. There is a special events permit for our board policy that says needs to be held. So I did talk to STAR today to make sure that special events permit had been obtained. What I was told was that when they called the county to get the special events permit, the county said they didn't need it. So I have asked for documentation to ensure that if anybody were to show up asking for any information, we have documentation that says somebody told us we didn't need the special events permit. And beyond that, it'll just be, we're trying to work with some of our bus driver staff to provide some shuttles. So STAR is willing to hire our bus drivers after hours. So we're trying to get some information about, where people are coming from, if they'd be interested in having a shuttle so they don't have to drive, so we don't have a parking issue or anything like that. So that's in the works as well.
Go ahead. Is the reason why they moved it up here, they get lower than anticipated interest in it, or?
No, actually, from what I know, because the gym was, they were going to be using the gym, there was going to be chairs and tables, food, a band. I asked them to use the floor cover that's typical when there's a large group in the gym, and that was presenting some issues. I don't know if it was from a design standpoint or just from an aesthetic, but they weren't as comfortable using the floor cover for the gym, so they decided to move it into the multipurpose.
Do we know how many?
From what I understand, it's at about 170. Yeah.
Are they professional bartenders that are going to be serving the alcohol?
That I don't know. Typically it is. Typically they have professional bartenders. Even when they've held their event at other venues, they've had professional bartenders. So
yeah.
My assumption at this point would be yes, but I don't have an answer.
Okay.
I just a couple clarifications. So I'm happy. This totally turns it into a true fundraiser because
Yeah.
I think for the last couple decades we end up spending 2/3 of our costs on event costs, which is good for them. So I definitely want to support that.
Yeah.
They should definitely carry their own insurance for the event and name the school as primary.
Right.
And make sure all that's in place.
Yes.
And then for sure,
yeah, they do a regular facility use where they provide the insurance and all that.
yeah, and then just go over the basics with them about Ubering or, there's options for people. So
Sure.
everyone's trying to teach their kids to do the right thing. Hopefully the adults are, leading the charge on that. So
Yeah.
That's all. Those are my
Yeah.
comments.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then we're on to board policies, approval of updated board policies.
So I'm going to turn it over to Mike. He's going to talk to you about the AI. The packet that I gave you is intended only for a first reading because there's a lot of information that I think we need to talk about. So I gave it to you. You have a month to read it. We'll come back next month. And I'm going to turn it over to Mike for the AI.
And this is a lot of information, so stop if you have questions or whatever, and we can kind of talk about it. But the proposed AI policy aligns with our district vision in the goal of supporting our students in becoming respectful, responsible, and productive citizens. And in that way, we want AI tools to help students develop tools or develop the skills by using the tools to support their curiosity, learning, and growth. And we want educators to feel supported through the use of AI tools. so that they can reduce some of those administrative tasks to create more space for those meaningful interactions with their students. We spent a little bit of time as a committee reviewing where we'd like to go with the AI policy. And really, it's important that we have something in place because of how quickly these tools are out there, how quickly the tools are developing. New applications are emerging daily. Students are accessing them at home as long as they have an internet connection and a device that can do it. So the tools have the potential to really dramatically change how we are interacting with students in the educational space. Google has integrated Gemini, their AI tool, into the workspace. So that provides an opportunity for structured interactions with AI tools in the educational setting. And we already have pretty good existing policies on technology use, academic honesty, and staff use of technology. So having a AI policy that kind of supports existing policies was something we felt was important. We established 7 guiding principles as we begin to implement AI tools in the district. So the first guiding principle being, student-centered. We want AI tools to help personalize and enhance the learning experience for students in the district. Staff-centered, and this was very important. We don't want AI tools to replace any of the work that our staff is doing. We just wanted to augment that work and make it more meaningful for both the staff member, the teacher, and the student. We want the use of AI tools to be ethical and transparent. So we're ensuring academic integrity, academic honesty, but also compliance with existing privacy laws. And we want equity and access so that we can ensure opportunity for all students to use the AI tools to benefit their learning. Accountability, making sure that all users of AI tools are responsible for the outputs of those tools. And lastly, consistent community engagement to make sure that we are working together with our larger educational community and families to support AI literacy. But the biggest piece that comes up primarily is the safety of student data and privacy, the personally identifiable information, or PII. So it's important that, any proposed policy makes sure that we protect that information and are in compliance with existing privacy laws like FERPA and COPA, and that we're receiving parental consent if any AI tools are sharing PII for students that are under the age of 13, which is pretty much most of our students. So making sure that we're in line with those safety guidelines. But also recognizing that AI tools have the potential to really support students with learning differences and allowing them access to those tools as long as we can be in line with everything else to make sure that they have equal access to academic content standards and enhance their learning experience. In terms of academic honesty, the committee felt taking like an integrity first perspective was important in the draft policy. So we want AI to be a tool to support learning, not replace the learning that the students are experiencing when they're here with us at this meeting. So in order to do that, the policy kind of directs the development of 3 things: grade level appropriate definitions of what academic honesty is in regards to AI, making sure that we have the ability to prevent any unauthorized access to artificial intelligence, that we're able to control access to AI within what we can control. Once they go home, they have access to everything. But in our environment, we can have a structured access to AI tools. And then also how we are working to kind of detect the use of AI in our educational program, or detect any instances of academic dishonesty through the use of AI. And then making sure that things are in line with our site-based behavior policies, ed code, existing board policies on academic honesty and things like that. In terms of artificial intelligence tools that are kind of already in place, We've kind of expanded our use of IXL this year in the district for adaptive math and ELA practice at the student level. Students also have access to Gemini, which is the text and image generation program built into Google, which we have control over their level of access, as well as Notebook LM, which is kind of a program used through Google for research and presentations. So teachers have access to all the same tools in addition to the Google Workspace. And the teachers that were on the committee kind of shared some of the ways that they already integrate AI tools into their instruction. Mr. Conti in second grade uses AI tools pretty frequently in terms of Gemini to create leveled decodable readers for students that are tied to like the content or high interest areas. And of course, he'll review the material, but he gave an example of, what Mr. Conti did on St. Patrick's Day, and he met a leprechaun. But he can instantly, with a prompt, create leveled decodable readers for students that he can use in center rotations. So that's something he's already doing. Ms. Felt in fourth grade said that she uses AI tools to generate reader speeder scripts that can kind of complement the content area that she's in to make the content a little bit more engaging for the students. And Ms. Leon here at the middle school is using a feature in Google Gemini GEMS to kind of control student access to the AI tool, but also target specific feedback and editing tools for their writing, which is kind of neat to see. So I'll have to get her up here and kind of explain a little bit
It's
more about
amazing.
what she's doing. But
I think she should come and present to everybody so you can see how she implements guardrails through the use of GEMS, right? She's controlling the prompts of what the students are putting in, and they're getting real and instant feedback on their work with the guardrails that she set. And it's as simple as like she links the gem to Google Classroom, so access, and talk about equity and access. It's all there accessible to the kids. They copy and paste the intro of their paragraph, and given the outlines that she's prompted the gem to do, the kids then get immediate feedback on what she's told it to do. So it's really cool. I'm hoping that, yeah, she can get here to show you guys how that's pretty cutting edge at the middle school.
yeah, I mean, and that stuff's happening already. So it's important that we have a policy in place to help guide that implementation and really make sure that we're giving students the best supports that we can while they're here with us. So another big part of it was, especially from the teachers on the committee, was like, how do we develop this AI literacy for our students? And so we spent a little bit of time discussing what we want students to be able to do with a program that we could develop or put in place with the use of existing resources. And the first component is really AI fundamentals, like what it is, what it can do, what it can't do at this point, what are the limitations, how to effectively prompt an AI tool to make sure it gives you what you need. Critical evaluation of the outputs that AI tools generate, ethical use, making sure that we're maintaining academic honesty and citations when necessary, as well as working towards instructional integration. So having students responsibly use it to assist with research projects or make their learning a little bit more personal. And some of the tools that we explored as a committee to kind of support that program, Common Sense Media has a unit of AI literacy tools and lessons units built for middle school grades 6, 7, and 8. And then kind of aligning what we're trying to do with the international standards for technology. So Common Sense Media actually has some professional development units too for educators that are kind of in line with what we were thinking for professional development for teachers. And a big part of that would be ensuring that we're safeguarding student data through the use of these tools. Also making sure that we're consistently offering professional development related to the use of artificial intelligence tools as those tools change and as we get more access to different tools that are within our controlled system at school. And then also transparent integration. So we don't want, the use of AI tools to be a secret. Like I used AI to help me finish this presentation. We want it to be used responsibly to support a high quality education program within the district. So, and then lastly, the policy kind of highlights the need for community engagement and having that same ongoing conversation with families in the larger community setting, so we can build some trust, share the tools that we're using in school, give families tips on how to work with their student, kind of monitor what they're doing at home, so that we can have a collaborative approach with the use of AI with families in the district. So a big thank you to committee members, Mr. Conti, Ms. Feld, Ms. Leon. We had 2 8th grade students from San Venancio join us, Jackson Burnham and Oliver Stevens Messina. And Mia Temple wasn't able to attend all of our meetings, but did provide a lot of feedback on kind of our draft documents throughout the process. But our next step, we typically just meet 3 times, but we added a 4th meeting the end of April here to kind of dive into now we have this vision for what we'd like AI tools to look like in the district. But the next question is, well, where's the scope and sequence for when this AI literacy program will, start happening, and who's going to do what, and what resources do we have that are currently available, kind of matching what units and lessons that we've been able to find through Common Sense Media to that AI literacy program. So we're going to do that so that we're ready to go next year, kind of start implementing a lot of this, as long as the policy is okay to everybody.
Thank you.
I have a couple of questions. So anyway, thank you for following up on this. I know this has been something we've been targeting in our strategic planning. So I'd like to see a little, maybe if there's any comments from the board, we're going to meet in 2 weeks on this and put it on the board like, hey, we got a policy. It shows it's draft on here anyway. So things that I'm seeing with it is, and your literacy is you're going to have to do your sightings and your bibliography. And so what are you going to say? I use Gemini, so we're no longer citing written works. We're citing a conglomerate, an amalgamation of all this data that's crunched, and it's just going to be part of this process. We have to teach them sooner than later. I would foresee that AI will replace all, curriculums we buy. We're just going to use AI, right, to develop your curriculums. You won't be buying those anymore. They'll be presented in something that was created by AI. I'd like to see some gating on what you can't use AI for, and I would establish a fence for everyone must learn how to write cursive and phonetically learn how to read. I mean, if you don't stop that soon and you quit teaching that stuff, then everyone's just going to take the lazy way out. You know what I mean? So beyond what you can use it for, what you can't use it for, so we have a better, more well-rounded education. So those are my initial comments to that. I'd have to dive a little further into it.
Yeah, of course.
So I don't know that I'm ready to approve as written tonight, but I just want to bring that up.
Yeah.
For her team.
Yeah. No, you're right on. I don't think it's like with what you're saying about the bibliography and the citations and whatnot. Like, yeah, that is a great in Mike's ethical practice part of it. I think that is a huge part of ethical practice. I don't know that it's APA approved to cite ChatGPT, but you can use it
to
collect
Yeah.
sources and review those sources yourself, right? It could be a good engine, like a search engine back when Google was created, right?
Yeah.
To find those bibliography sources that you need to write your paper, right? I think that's where the ethical part comes into it.
Yeah, it's so easy now. You're like, why would I even want to do that? You know?
Yeah.
And it's not a person, it's a program.
Yeah.
Now we're citing. It's a challenge. They're going to have all these, exceptions.
Sure. And that's the hard thing, because what is that? We're talking about a definition for what it means to be dishonest when you're using artificial intelligence tools. So like for student writing, if you have artificial intelligence review your writing and not adjust content, but correct spelling and grammatical errors for you, and then you turn that in, like, is that academically dishonest or not? Like, it didn't change the content, but it did.
I don't think it is. We have spell check now, and I still mess stuff up.
Right. Yeah. So that's
the old handwritten or using a typewriter and that could use liquid paper on it. You know what I mean? That process, I don't think is.
Yeah, and building that definition so that students understand, setting the expectation of what constitutes something that is not okay. Like, when are you replacing the learning with an AI tool versus?
Exactly. I think that's what those barriers you got to define.
Yeah.
And the key is, if we don't let them learn this, you don't want to send them out in the world not knowing how to use this. But we got to find the fence where it's like, okay, you can use it for this for our learning process, but get back to reading your book and handwriting stuff. And, they got to be set for the future, but their brains won't develop properly if they don't get the basic stuff done manually.
Right. Yes. Yeah, that was a big thing because we have an option to restrict access completely, to the AI tools that we have available. And the committee kind of was shying away from that piece because we do want students to be able to interact with them responsibly and appropriately. It's just a big job, right? Who helps them through that process? Who implements the AI literacy curriculum? And so that's what we're going to talk about at our next meeting.
Go ahead.
Oh, I want to say I'm a skeptic. I come into this whole thing as a skeptic to the whole thing. But I appreciated the examples you gave, because the example from Mr. Conti coming up with the second grade appropriate news story about, wonderful, and Miss Phelps' Reader's Theater seems like a great thing. I'd love to see Miss Leon come in and explain it, because that's the piece that I'm most curious about. Because as somebody who's spent my life as a writer, frustration is my world, and does AI take away the frustration? Because if it takes away the frustration, it's taken away your thinking. So how do you use AI and preserve the thinking? And that's going to be frustration, because the best part about AI is you're not frustrated. I type it in and they tell me. So I'm really interested in that.
Yeah, I want you to see it, because I totally understand what you're saying. But where she set if you are a student at home and we can't control what they do at home, they could throw it in there and then you totally lose your frustration because it writes it for you.
Yeah.
But when she sets those guardrails on the gem itself, it repeats questions back to them that are relevant to what they need to improve. I wish I had the example that we were watching that one class. It was something about, commentary. It was commentary. And it was a specific prompt that she said, pose 2 questions back to the students without giving any information or revising what they say, relevant to their commentary. So, this, I can't remember, but
I can't remember the questions, but it didn't give them the answers.
Yeah.
It forced them to think.
Yeah.
It would pose a question back to them. When reviewing your commentary, think about how somebody it was something about soccer. It was one of the ones I read. Think about how somebody unfamiliar with soccer would think about your statement. Something along those lines. That's a poor way to do it, but it would pose questions back to them. So hopefully we can get her here so everybody can see that, because it's interesting.
I want to jump on what Pope said. So necessity is a mother of invention, or frustration can be too. And that's how we learn how to problem solve. So if you're going to develop your skills as a problem solver, or if you're a creatively minded individual, you'll be stunted if you have the easy button. So I have a very good friend. I've known him a long time. He owns a business. He's super creative and he can get a lot done. He and I talk about this, and I don't use AI to solve my problems. He's constantly messing with it, though he's able to stand alone in an apex creative mode by himself with his own brain. I tell him he's overusing it, because now it's not coming from him. His persona and his stamp is altered by these prefab solutions and or ideas. So there's a balance there. That's all I'm trying to bring up. And we just got to be super careful how we let loose the reins on that, So
It reminds me, I feel silly when I say it, but it kind of reminds me of the discussion of when Wikipedia first came out. I can't. But kids are going to use it. They're going to, should we be using it? Should we not be using it? All of these different, can you cite Wikipedia? Can you not cite, all of these things. I just remember back with something like that. And now it's part of, it's just,
yeah, it's
boring.
here to
It's
stay.
boring now.
It's here to
no
stay.
big deal. And that's what this is going to be. This is going to be here. So I really appreciate you guys bringing up what we need to think about, what are the sorts of plans we need to come up with. The part that actually stood out to me mostly was student privacy, and really wanting to make sure we're protecting everything that we need to do there. So there's no exposure to that, because that would be awful to be like, your data is now all over the internet because of us. Like that needs to be really
To be locked down.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking that to the heights of that.
All right, so I think I heard you wanted to bring this back for.
It's written as a draft.
Uh-huh.
And then we got our packet, but like, does the team need more time? We're gonna talk about it again in 2 weeks.
I think I'd like to look at it one more time.
I think it's worthy, and because we've been talking about it with this strategic planning group, it'd be nice for them to have a 5-minute window just to say, because we're gonna get up on a whiteboard and bring up stuff. So like, I think one more round of group think would be great, and then publish it after that.
Should we get a motion for that?
Yeah, motion to bring it back.
Okay, motion to bring it back.
I'll move to bring it back.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much for doing that. Seriously, it's a big job.
Sarah, right?
Sarah.
Sarah, second. Okay, and now we're on to the approval of the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion for approve.
I'll second that.
Any questions about anything before we're going on? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And that leads us to future meeting dates next week.
Next week, throw on the 15th.
Yeah, it's not in there, but April 15th at 5:00 at Washington.
Don't show up here.
Don't show up here.
Don't show up here.
At
Okay.
Washington.
At Washington.
And I'll have a cone out for all of you on the left. Pull up and smooth your cone.
All right.
This
And-
would be a big event.
I think
Yeah.
so. I hope so. We're gonna have cake.
I'll send you all the flyer. I put a flyer out today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get the lights.
and that
Should we show up in like our hiking gear?
If you'd like to go up on the nature trail, you can.
We should.
The kids will take you up there.
I'll bring a bottle of Techman.
Yes.
Oh, is that?
So we have, yeah.
From doing the laundry, not from riding the bike.
Yeah. And it takes you really bad that you.
No, mountain bikes, amazing.
Adjournment at this point.
I'll make a motion.
Motion.
Adjourn.
Second.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye. That is for mountain biking, isn't it, Adam?
Wow. Just hard.
Oh.
Moving around.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Jason is
No.